This is a narration of poetry, spoken word, and a script written by Don Michelle and the poet B.GKL. I am playing the character, the Harp, aka best friend Adonis, and Don Michelle will be giving us the character, Jewel, the magnificent harp player. The detail of this story is a motivational connection between a marble and mahogany wood grain harp and a wonderful harp player named Jewel that is unable to play the same. After losing her best friend to an armed robbery while leaving his job near his best friend Jewel's condo, she falls into a state of solitude, but the harp has a spirit that tries to call her back to her music room, but her heart aches for her best friend, Adonis. The title is Colorless Hands of Strings. Stay tuned for commentary input by Dawn, Michelle, and myself. Let us begin our journey.
Tonight is the night. My first self-composed solo piece will be debuted on a stage in front of thousands. Though I performed many times, tonight just feels different. Something in the atmosphere I just have not been able to shake, but the show must go on. My best friend Adonis will be in the front row cheering me on. He's more like a brother. We've been close since we were kids. Focus, Jewel, and complete your assignment. You got this, is what he would tell me if he were here right now. He's right, you know? The music flows through me. I know exactly how to pluck and caress each string as if my instrument and I are one. Let me go fine-tune and polish my harp.
Apart from having to close today, at least I got one thing to look forward to tonight. Despite only having 1 hour to get home and dress formal to see Jewel's harp performance uptown, down to 10 minutes before lockup, and the store is empty. Might as well get a smoke in before closing. Frozen in motion coming out the door, 2 straight bullets hit me in the neck and the stomach, adrenaline pumping and falling. Calling for help in broken, bloody shouts. No shooter around, no people in sight. All right, Adonis, I mumbled to myself. Get to Jewel's house. My best friend lives 3 blocks away from my job. Heartthrob of energy picks me up in desperation. But why the day of all nights? Sights of brutal visions of me dying on her front porch.
It's almost time. Let me double check and make sure I have everything. I have dreamed of this moment for a long time. Everything is falling into place. My life is perfect. Okay, I have my keys, harp, and backstage pass. And where is my sheet music? I was sure I thought it was, but then I came down and that's right. I placed my sheet music on the table by the front door. Jewel looks stunningly beautiful in her black evening gown and long cascading curls as she walks towards the front door. Ah, there's my music. Let me set this alarm and I'm out the door. Adonis would be... Bloody handprints on my banister. A trail of blood trickling down my steps. Adonis is laid out on my front porch. Please be breathing. Please. I drop everything except my harp, which I set down near Adonis's head and rushed to his side. He's not breathing. No. I can't find a pulse. No. I start pumping his chest with my fist and breathing into his mouth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe! He's not responding. I finally see where his flesh has been ripped through by bullets. Adonis, please don't leave me. You're the only family I have left. I call 911. Send an ambulance to 1227 Spring Drive and hurry. My best friend's Help is on the way.
Sway of warm breath and careful tears over my fading body, with large smears of my wounds consuming Jewel's beautiful black dress. Rest of my body feels numb. I'm unable to feel the tight, tearful hold of her talented harp-holding arms. Alarms and sirens swell the air with panic, while my body becomes more paralyzed. Or have I already become lifeless but aware? A slight glare of moonlight reflecting from the harp strings near my perishing body. Hearing the screams become blank. Watching Jewel faint around my body as the harp's feet becomes red and painted as it falls from her accidental kick. An acoustic offbeat melody is plucked by the impact as it hits my side, while her sheet music soaks in my chalk line. Feeling more entwined and coalesced, but I don't feel alive or dead. But please wake me up, Jewel. You will always be my best friend, and I will find a way to fix this, even through death. I will always keep my word. Merge of my soul has not found reason to be.
Ambulance arrives. Help him! They ask what happened. I don't know. Please help him. They're asking me all these questions. I have no answers to give. This can't be happening. The sight of my brother laying lifeless is more than I can bear, but I will not leave his side. Who would try to steal life from one who does nothing but good to all he meets? Has he overcome the odds to have his life cut short as an animal in the streets? The comprehension escapes my mind as I search for the wise. Deafening silence rises up and stands boldly at the end of the question. Leaving me suspended in these moments, I watch tearfully as the paramedics shock Adonis's heart repeatedly. There is no motion, no return of the rise and fall of his chest. A single tear slips from the corner of his eye as life drifts away and his soul escapes. I look upon the face of my brother and hug him to me as a mother coddling her child. Tears flow uncontrollably, running down my face and his, combining with the blood trickling down my stairs. The white sheet surfacing to bring truth to what I already knew deep within when I walked out my front door. I would hear the knock of Adonis on the frosted glass no more. They took him, and I sat on my front steps, speechless and frozen in time. My lips are not capable to form the words to tell my brother goodbye.
Rectifying this terrible night is beyond me, while watching my calm body be carried off with absence and a solitary dry tear. The early sear visions of my mind, flashing with sights of me dying, against and between her frosted glass doors and lavender-planted pots. Gunshots still being heard within me, while unable to communicate with Jewel in a state of being declared dead and now a phantom. But the anthem of Jewel's weeping notes and friendly neighbors helping my sister off her blood-soaked knees leave a pure anger upon me to see that I feel at fault for needing a quick smoke instead of just waiting to close the store. 4 harp strings play a subtle tune as my blood falls from Jewel's French-tipped nails, making sounds like a xylophone bell mallets. The palette of sorrow runs through her chords, as she tends to always lose her voice any time she screams out of anger or in turmoil. The coil of Jewel's natural curls becomes ruffled as she mumbles to be left alone by all neighbors and stumbles up the stairs with the harp. My soul starts to leap forward as my hand phases through Jewel's arm, but oddly I was able to hold a part of her harp as she held it tightly out of habit. The advocate even in death I see, as Jules caught her fall, not knowing I was actually holding one end of her clutching strings. Brings me to tears, but a soul can't cry.
Sitting inside this house, even the brightest colors seem pale. My voice is hoarse from crying all night. No sleep, and I have no strength left to yell. I still can't believe what has happened. but the crimson remnants on my front steps leave a permanent reminder. I wish I could fly in reverse like Superman did to reverse time and bring Adonis back. This cruel world leaves me to suffer alone, while the reality of others remain intact. The sound of my telephone ringing coupled with the tune of the doorbell has driven me to a point I never thought I'd reach. There shall be no more music in this house. I turn my phone on silent and dismantle the doorbell. The sight of my harp sitting in the corner by the front door brings a new flash of pain as new tears escape from my ducts, gliding down my face as a child running through a playground. My footsteps are as cement as I walk towards the harp. Handling it gently, I take it into the music room and rest it against its case. A single note escapes, causing me to shudder. I'll never touch you again. Solemnly, I exit the music room with a heavy sigh. I close the door, shutting away every sound of joy that I thrived on. Left with my screaming thoughts, I walked upstairs to my bedroom and locked the door. I laid on my bed, turned towards the wall, with my long cascading curls hiding my face from everything and everyone.
From downstairs, in the music room, I can hear the sounds of my best friend inner soul harp losing its tune through her grief. Brief, silent, but subtle cell phone calls and messages from the opera house director about missing her major debut while not being aware of her issue. Tissue box empty on the piano top with light blood stains on the cardboard shell from Jules losing her eyes of waters. My slaughter can't allow Jules to be shattered in isolation. This could have happened to anyone, but it happened to me on this night. Light from the moon shines on the harp, which may be the only communication I might have with Jules, yet being the only thing I was able to physically hold through death. Yes, I believe this should work, because when I tried to speak to her as she laid down the harp near the case, one single note plucked, but my voice was unheard. Absurd idea, but oddly my only option. As I touched the harp once more and transferred my every being into its mahogany, marble, oak, and silk harmonies. My abilities was never an instrument, but I will play the basic scale of melodies that Jules tried to teach me a while ago. The flow of my amateur harp skills, and which only her ears knew. This should at least get Jules back in the music room, I hope.
The last 2 weeks have been as blurry as a high-speed chase on the interstate. Days crashing into the next, becoming one moment. These walls should have been painted charcoal, for my vision is so unclear, the urge to create being far from my reach. Music was my love. My love broke my heart, so I divorced myself from every aspect of it. Though I have set a boundary between my gift and I, it oversteps its bounds every time I sleep, every night louder than the last. I'm wide awake and I still hear the tune of the scales I taught Adonis long ago. I try to shake the sound as violent wind shakes leaves from trees during a tropical storm. Yet it remains. I constantly hear music in my head. I must be reliving memories in Technicolor. It is time to escape from the confines of my room. Perhaps a change of scenery. I could walk to the health food store. Their fruit is always fresh and delicious. Unsure of what this day holds, but I'm open for something different. I wear my multicolored sundress that reminds me of a butterfly. Time to put my morning garments away. Jewel runs down the stairs and heads to the store, purchasing mango, plantain, pineapple, strawberries, and kiwi. She heads home. She arrives at her front steps. Remnants of crimson remain. She wipes away a single tear and bravely walks through the front door. Setting the plantain on her kitchen counter, she opens the blinds and cracks the window. Fresh air floods the room as she washes and cuts up fruit. Setting her bowl and green tea with honey on the table in front of her, she partakes the first morsel of goodness she's had in weeks. As she eats, the musical scales begin to play in crescendos. She heads towards the one room in her home she had forbidden herself to enter, standing at the threshold.
Console your heart with the sound of my phantom finger plucks to motivate your exquisite gift back towards the pillar and timber of Wolf Tomb. I assume I may have Jewel's attention as her presence warms the cold wooden entry as she stands in the arrival, with bitten fruit and subtle chewing coming to a halt. The vault of her cheekbones becomes frozen with utter mumble, with breath of honey and green tea aroma tarrying along, unable to speak. Her feet drags forward as she fully opens the smoky glass pocket doors to only see the harp just playing itself like a fairy tale or poltergeist in concert. It hurts me to see my sister Jewel in such pain without any closure, yet only left with the void of me dying before her ceremony. If only she knew that I am here, and that hurting is normal but healing with time is better. But I am happy she was able to get fresh air, or even come near the music room again. Then Jules moves closer with her curiosity and supernatural comfort settling in, while holding her fruit, and the other hand pent to the side of her multicolored sundress. So I coalesced my soul deeper into becoming this harp even more, and played the same song with more gracious pull of supple freedom, trying to verbalize my voice through music. Elusive look upon her face as I pluck some strings in the wrong notes, purposely to provoke her need to correct the tropic storm she has mistaken me for. Outpour of her tears rain from her eyes as she begins to sit down near the harp. She gracefully tries to touch the arch near the shoulder of the soundboard, completely ignore the uncanny facts in her eyes, and shouted in a small crying gasp, "Why is this happening to me?" Feeling her music love being taunted in mid-touch. A rush of strange but familiar liveliness was felt between her hand and the harp as she sat in total silence. But finally, I think she heard my voice. I think.
I sit and look in disbelief as my instrument plays itself, and my first instinct is to run. Unable to move, I feel as if I've been transported to another dimension, as imperfect chords of familiarity fill the air. My head is swimming as I gently reach out to touch my harp. I'm certain this is a cruel trick, as my attempt to make the melody that has played repeatedly while I drifted in and out of consciousness to cease. As my finger makes contact with the strum of a string, I feel a coolness touch the back of my hand. Everything within me comes to a halt. There's only one thing in the world that feels as such, but it can't be. Or is it? The notes hit my body as lightning striking the sky. I feel a sickness wash over me and my arms fall numb at my sides. This moment of lost comprehension brings a different type of clarity. But he's gone, I tell myself, although I can feel him everywhere in this room. I look at my harp wide-eyed as tears drip on the floor in time with the music. Adonis?
Yes, but to be honest, I never thought that I would be able to speak to you again, my friend, while my voice starts to vibrate through the mahogany grain. Contain your emotion, Jewel, because the harder you listen and the better I play this instrument that I've become, I shall be able to speak clearly to fulfill the closure that is needed.
I can hear you, but how is this possible?
I guess nothing's impossible, as things continue to become more oddly mysterious, nearing the moment of my departure. But it's even harder to watch you fall apart over it, Jewel. You need to pull yourself together, as the breath of Jewel is seen from her, as my presence fills the room soulfully, as the harp plays itself.
So much easier said than done, and I'm trying. The transition from life to death played out before my eyes. Your departure was so unexpectedly sudden. We should be here laughing at the oddities of life, yet here we are exchanging odd conversation. You don't find that strange? Peculiar?
Unusual? Yes. But change is all I want for you, sister. Just a better direction towards manifesting the serenity of music, in which no audience has ever stolen with their ears. It appears time for me in this moment has gifted us temporary conversation of reality bending, for me to motivate the goal of your existence. Why keep building resistance to what you have loved since a young girl? Your world is now. As the stars complement the moon, you shall give growth to the sunrise, with playing for your brother once more. I'm sure you can do it.
The ability is ingrained in me. It's my capability at the moment I question. The tears I've cried are now embedded in my soul. I still feel the music, yet I wrestle inwardly. The stars that I once loved to play under seem as if their twinkle was snatched from the sky. You were the only family I had. Now there is none but I. You knew me better than any. Who do I play for? As hard as I try to shake it, this melancholy lullaby follows me wherever I go. Is that the message I'm supposed to put into the atmosphere?
Cheer up, Jewel. I hate to see you in such dark chords of emotion. Just try to remember that even pain holds a unique place in any creative person. Begin searching within to deliver your sadness and give that hurting a volume of melodies to vent and become the person I've known you to be. Little Julie, wipe those river tears. It's what I heard your dad say to you all the time growing up. So embrace his words and play for the audience that never leaves you. Do what is needed for you to heal, my sister. For I feel my time in his heart is giving me my last wishes. It's becoming more difficult for me to control this former state. Hate nothing about what has happened, and be brilliant with soul and heal by music. I shall be with you always, best friend.
Jewel realizes that she must play her harp. She takes all of her pain, heartbreak, feelings of loss, trauma, tears, and years of memories and puts them all in the music. A hauntingly beautiful melody fills the air through each phrase and transition, telling the story of their lives. On the very last chord, one string continues to vibrate as if singing a solo. The music ceases. I love you, my brother. You can rest now. Jewel rises to her feet, walking out of the music room, leaving the doors open. She goes into the kitchen to grab her fruit, her journal, and ventures outside to sit on her front steps.
The end. The end. Commentary input by Dawn Michelle and myself.
Hey, this is Dawn Michelle. The story of Jewel was birthed from an idea, and it was fulfilling to see that idea grow between emails that were exchanged between myself and my brother, the Poet.b.GKL. He allowed me to guide the flow of this story, and I can relate to Jewel. In this story, Jewel had a strong sense of who she was, although her parents died when she was young. But when this story takes place, this is the most pivotal moment in her life. And her best friend, who was like her brother, is murdered on that same night. Jewel goes through feelings of fear, deep mourning. She falls into a depression. She begins to hear music, and at one point she even thinks she may be going crazy. But then she realized that she had to get up. She had to face what she was feeling so that she could move on with her life. I can relate to Jewel. I've been at a place in life where the very thing I love is the very thing that I shut myself off from. I love to write. I stopped writing for a long time, just out of hurt and things in life. But as much as I love to write, I love music and I love to sing. Ever since I was a little girl, I shied away from music for a while as well. But I realized that the thing that I had shut out of my life was the very thing that I needed to gravitate towards to heal. And some would say that this story does not have a good ending, but I beg to differ. Because at the end of the story, Jewel goes to the very same place, her front porch, where she was traumatized, to heal. And we all need healing in some way, shape, form, or fashion. Sometimes we'll shut ourselves off from the very things that we need in order for our healing to come to fruition. We all deserve to be whole. We deserve healing. We deserve the best. Again, my name is Dawn Michelle. You can find me on social media on Instagram at Dawn Michelle Poetry. You can find me on Facebook on my artist page, Dawn Michelle. I really enjoyed the entire process of this story. Thank you for listening.
Peace and love, peace and love. This is the Poet B.GKL, Brother GKL, that is Gawd, Keenng, Lio'lf, and I'm coming at you with my commentary about the colorless hands of strings. Collaborated by me and my wonderful sister, Dawn Michelle. And I gotta thank her too, always, man. I love my sister, man. She one of the people that get my name right. You know what I'm saying? It's the Poet B.GKL, not B.GKL, but either or. But I appreciate you. And like I said, man, with this whole storyline, what we wanted to do was make Jewel the main light of the story. Colorless hands of strings, which means your emotions are colors. A lot of times they show up, and people read the palm of your hands, read your future and things like that, man. It's a lot of things going on in this story. It's poetic, spoken word, and it's a script written. We acting it out, you know what I'm saying, to give out all the emotion. And by the way, my sister did an awesome job, and we patiently worked on this back and forth. So, the support is real. Emails back and forth to create a system or whatever. We can keep on going and work on a pace where there's no rush, no time frame, or nothing. And we're feeding off of each other. You know what I mean? And we don't try to, tell somebody what to write. I picked her for a reason. That's my sister. I already know she got the talent to do it. And the one thing I always love is that she always come with a solid quality audio. The audio is always clear. I love that, and I appreciate that as just being a recording engineer. Jewel and Adonis, they're best friends, more like brother and sister. And I didn't want to focus on the entire family. You know how you got that person that just don't deal with their whole family, but their main family, which would have been her mother and her father. But mainly she was a little bit more closer to the father. Not saying it was either or. She was a little bit more close to the father as far as music-wise, but her mother and her father was passed on, and she didn't really have any siblings and things like that. But the thing is, the story of is that Adonis had to make it to where she was at. You know what I'm saying? No matter what, you always know where the people that love you are. Passing away in front of a house, your best friend's house, that was the first thing that came to his mind. You would think he would run, call out for help, but leaving the job, you know what I mean? And straight bullets happen all the time, where there is never a predator to be found. You know what I mean? It's an investigation, but you're in a certain neighborhood where they're not going to take it that serious. So we came up with the story, man. Jewel is at peace. She's music going on to her beautiful performance, her big time. This is her big break, but we didn't want to be predictable about it. It was just one of her big performances, one of her debuts, and she consistently loved her music. Her music is her peace. And her best friend grew up with her, always supporting her. So, you know what I'm saying? That's just how it is. And it's like my sis said, it's not a bad ending because your soul is energy. Energy goes to where it's supposed to go. You don't stop completely everything because of a loss, because they live their life and you have to continue to live yours, but with time. She went outside and she found her peace, and like they say, you drown in water. If you don't get back in it, you'll be afraid of it. You'll almost become a spiritual agoraphobic. You know what I mean? Agoraphobic is somebody that's scared to come out of the house, and your house is still considered your home. You know what I mean? And you wouldn't want to be afraid to go to a place where the most terrifying thing has happened. So that whole source of story is supernatural. Man, it's just out of this world as far as how the thing is. The Harp was the only way for his soul to make an attachment to something that they both had in common, so she can go to that and she would feel comfortable. So man, I gotta say this, man, sis killed it. She always bring that positive energy. Like I said, man, love her to life. You know what I'm saying? This is not the only project we doing. This is actually the second longest project we doing. And man, I'm proud of her, man. You know what I mean? I'm happy that we got to do this. And I got a lot of more collaborations coming up. Me and Dawn Michelle about to get it in. You know what I'm saying? So peace and love, and shout out to all the wonderful people out there that we know that's out here writing and busting their butt to make good product and stuff like that, man. Hey, we here. We got to support each other, and we got to take it to the next level. Don't be afraid of your voice. Don't be afraid of your face on video. You hear me? Take it to the next level. You can find me anywhere. You know what I mean? YouTube, whatever. I ain't here for the fame. I'm here for the love. Poet B.GKL. Brother GKL, that is Gawd, Keenng, Lio'lf. This is my commentary.